Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. We got the IMF Managing Director, Kristalina Georgieva, gives an ominous economic prediction coming for 2023. We got new use cases for XLS-20 NFT token and Ripple case prediction time. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, or Twitter for exclusive content. $841 billion market cap for cryptocurrency. Good morning. We're up 0.1% this morning. Bitcoin 16,700 plus. Ethereum is 1,200 plus this morning. Tether market cap 66.2 billion, they say. XRP 34 cents. Let's look at this if you haven't done it. The only thing better than buying crypto is buying tax-free crypto, and you can do it with iTrust Capital. You have many options you can take advantage of, as well as 9.5 staking for some assets they have, or whether you want to roll over your 401k, TSP, 403b, or 457, and so much more. Click the link of my sponsor and check them out underneath the video. Let's start right here. Sam Bankman-Fried arraignment today at 2 p.m., ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we're going to want to know about it. Shout out to Metalaw, man. Will prosecutors tell the judge that co-conspirator Nishad Singh has fled, Sam Trabucco, Alameda co-CEO during the fraud, is missing, Sam Bankman-Fried may have moved significant funds from crypto wallets, all pertain to the possible bail revocation. How about that one? Shout out to Metalaw, man, for that update. We'll be looking for 2 o'clock to see what goes on. And right here, Val Hill Capital released a statement, and this was really in response to a thread of comments that went on with former Ripple employee, patent designer Bob Way, who had made some comments that were, well, less than favorable towards the confidential committee and the XRP buyback proposal that has been quite the talk of the town since it hit the scene. I'm not going to go through the back and forth blows to everybody here. What I'm going to say is simply this, is that they released a statement saying that the things that were mentioned were not accurate. And Bob Way came back in true classy fashion and simply said that, you know what, he realized it, accepted their assertion, and it appears his description of the events was wrong, and he apologized to them and all involved. And you know what is more important is that this disagreement or misunderstanding or whatever you would like to call it, this moment is really rectified by understanding this. Whether it's Bob Way or Jimmy Valley and Val Hill Capital or anybody on the confidential committee, I have to say this. What it really is not about a high price number and whether we think XRP could go to $50 or 5,000 or $5 million or whatever you think that number is. What it is really about is the intention behind it. And I know for a fact that the intention behind it with Val Hill Capital and Jimmy Valley and everybody involved is about making sure that the retail XRP holder is protected should the U.S. government or any other entity participate in trying to harm the retail holder for holding the asset XRP. And I believe that the resolution of this disagreement that was taking place about the comments that were made has brought us all, whether you're a developer or whether you're an XRP holder, retail, or what have you, I think everybody came to a understanding that what is the intention behind this is not to hype people about a high number of XRP because that's what people get stuck on. What I take away from it, and have always taken away from it, it is about really protecting the retail investor from some government action, like what happened to retail gold holders during the gold confiscation that affected U.S. residents, Australia residents, and limited UK residents, right? So let's just keep that in mind as we move forward and have an open mind to hear everyone. Cameron Winklevoss alleged yesterday that Barry Silbert and Digital Currency Group have engaged in stall tactics ever since Genesis Global Capital, a wholly owned crypto trading platform, halted withdrawals back in November 2022. Now, that got pretty nasty yesterday, too. And as it turns out, 3 Gemini Earn users have filed a request for class action arbitration against Genesis Global Capital and Digital Currency Group. They allege, among other things, that Genesis worked with its parent company to hide its insolvency. Now, I said this yesterday when this open letter came out from the Winklevoss brothers, and this is what I said. There's an adage that says desperation is a stinky cologne, and this thing stinks to high heavens here. So I don't say that in jest, because there are real people involved here. And I think what we're looking at, unfortunately, is more systemic fallout because of the FTX collapse. And all of this is really knee bone connected to the leg bone is what it feels like. We will watch it for more details. Prediction time. This here from Select Start Crypto says Ripple loses summary judgment on all sales by them. Brad and Chris go to trial and win. Judge Torres writes a strong positive opinion on secondary sales. SEC goes for full disgorgement and a $100 million fine. We see emails during Brad and Chris's trial. Ripple appeals and ultimately SCOTUS in 2027. Supreme Court of the United States. Where have we heard that before? Well, we don't know that that'll happen, but here we see Jeremy Hogan chime in and say all very possible predictions. Although he says, I just don't see how Judge Torres has any jurisdiction over secondary sales. She could put in something about them in dicta, but it wouldn't be binding. Select Star Crypto comes back and says, my original draft said dicta, but I figured it'd be lost on everyone except folks like us, he says. And then to further this just a little bit further, he said it would be lost. Excuse my clumsy post. And then Jesse Hines comes in here and says, generally isn't a terrible prediction. He says, with that said, here comes many without legal background to tell you how much you hate XRP and you're pro SEC. You know, look, I think a lot of people actually are getting this, and I don't see where a lot of people are saying that, to be truthful. I really don't. So, you know, there's some people out here in the community that just always look for the negative, right? If I'm looking for a negative, it's because I'm just trying to evaluate the up and down of where I'm at in my investment or life or what have you. When I'm looking forward to is a ruling in this case, and I'm reminded, whether it be John Deaton or Jeremy Hogan or anyone else that has been a real contribution in this community, and not looking for just, you know, attention like some in the thread I just read. But the reality here is this. The reality for me is that we've got to move through this thing, and we don't know what's going to happen. We are speculators. And it could go real good, and it could go real bad, and it could be a split the baby thing, right? But I'll tell you this. If Jim Filan is right, we're inside a 90-day window, 90-plus day window, of finding out, and I couldn't be happier. And if it ends up going further than just this ruling, don't rule out this notion that it may just be such that Ripple gets to move forward with the asset of XRP in the United States while there is continued legal proceedings taking place. We're going to watch it. We'll find out. I happen to feel like if it's going to be for all the money, you're going to need the highest court in the land at some point to sign off on it. And if it doesn't go that route, then you're going to need some entity like the U.S. Treasury and FSOC to come in and deem this systemically important if all the money is really going to be going across all that payment rail and that decentralized exchange, albeit a private ledger or not. However, in Italy right now, they approve a 26% capital gain tax on cryptocurrency. Boy, I tell you what, that politician came up with that's getting a back pat in the night, right? Boy, he's a genius, they say, inside of the walls of Congress there. This is a new use case for the XLS-20 NFT token right here. It's by Carbon Land Trust, and I don't know anything other than what we're looking at right here. But immediately, the thing that jumps out at me is obviously a certificate for carbon removal credits using the XLS-NFT token. If I just move this back again to page 11, you can see the tech stack diagram here that goes through the whole process of the credit issuance. And you can see obviously the smart contract, the NFT XLS-20 token to the owner's wallet. There you have it right there. Look, we know that we're moving to a green carbon agenda here. We know that's where the world's going. I don't know how big of a role this company will play or not, but I know that they're taking advantage of the XLS token as we move into that green agenda by 2030, I believe it is. So heads on a swivel for new use cases for XRP's NFT token. Meanwhile, the World Economic Forum slammed regulators for not acting decisively to prevent the 2022 meltdowns that caused the crypto winter. Well, here in the United States, I firmly believe that the reason they didn't do that is because they wanted to create the crypto winter so that the legacy firms and investment banks for Goldman Gary could come in and buy this space up pennies on the dollar. That's what friends do for one another. Here's a comment from that article here. It says, however, several crypto companies promoted the industry aggressively at the 2022 World Economic Forum Summit, including Circle CEO Jeremy Allaire and XRP boss Brad Garlinghouse, who is not an XRP boss, he's the CEO of Ripple, spoke on regulations in the future of remittances. Why are these two companies always there? Ripple and Circle are always mentioned. World Economic Forum bedfellow, IMF predictions 2023 recession. It says, while recently commending the U.S. for its tax infrastructure and Inflation Reduction Acts, the International Monetary Fund's managing director, Kristalina Georgieva, said that 1/3 of the world would experience a recession next year. Well, we're already in one here. I think the conversation now is whether we go to a deeper recession or a full-on depression. She is hopeful, however, she says, that the strength of the U.S. labor market will help the world overcome the recession. Unlike the World Economic Forum, the IMF is mandated by the United Nations to promote international coordination of monetary policy, financial stability, and international trade. It also shares the World Economic Forum's sustainable goals and has previously criticized cryptocurrency mining as a tool to avoid sanctions. That's not good. IMF's Georgieva has previously spoken at World Economic events, and it says both bodies supporting central bank digital currencies, as we know. Don't forget about the Ripple private ledger, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget about the World Economic Forum in 2020 showing that for most relevant wholesale CBDC use, what do they show us? JPM coin and XRP, crypto assets designed for inter and intra-bank payments and settlement. It's coming true to life is the way I see this unfolding. And then who is here to send us home? It's Kristalina Georgieva herself telling us just how difficult a year the world is getting ready to have, unfortunately.
My message is the following. 2023 is going to be a difficult year for the world. And the silver lining can only be that we use it to transform our economies, that we accelerate change that will underpin sounder prospects for growth. And that we, the IMF, fully recognize our responsibility to be a force for good. And a force we will be. All of us.
Well, look, you heard it from her, right? I mean, the reality is the silver lining is we can use it to transform the economies and accelerate the change that's good for our climate. Wait a minute. How did we go from a collapsing economies and trouble and difficulty around the world to now it's about climate? How about jobs? How about security? How about people being able to find food, right? No. We're going to go right to climate. Look, I'm reminded of the saying that Rob Emanuel said back in the Obama administration, right? Never let a good crisis go to waste. That's where we are on this day. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like we're in for one hell of a ride. I'll catch all of you on the next one.